All right, so is it panic time for the Chargers? Right now, they have let go Casey Hayward, and it sounds like Michael Davis may be gone. And Rayshawn Jenkins, based on his Twitter, is saying that he might be gone. He's looking forward to wherever he ends up next. We don't know what that means. So the DB room is going to look quite different next year. And so far, the Chargers have not signed anybody else to add to the secondary. It looks like it's going to be Tavon Campbell and Chris Harris for right now. Now, I do expect them to change that. I do expect them to sign someone, and they really could bring back Michael Davis. I still think they will, but they're also rumored to not be in play for John Johnson. But again, who can you trust these days on the media sources? But I just wanted to look at what their options are now. Let's say that they do only have Chris Harris and Tavon Campbell as their starting corners, which is god awful. And they didn't let Michael Davis come back, and Casey Hayward is gone, and even Jenkins is gone. What are you doing? And with the pick that I made at 13, which they might have to make this pick, is J.C. Horn, the corner from South Carolina. Now, he was the only corner available of that big three, so that's why I took him. It was pretty obvious at that point. And for the rest of the draft, I like the Draft Network simulation quite a bit, but I don't think they've taken into account some of the changes that have happened so far, like the Raiders and the Chiefs dropping some offensive linemen, or Corey Linsley from the Packers leaving. So, like, for example, Linsley leaves, so I gave the Packers Creed Humphrey, whereas they might take a receiver in this simulation normally, or a defensive player. And if that happens, and I do think it's going to happen, and if a lot of these linemen go like we expect them to go, because, Landon Dickerson is easily getting first-round buzz now. Humphrey, great workout. Wyatt Davis, I could see falling. I didn't select these guys for the team specifically because they needed them. I just picked players to give more of a realistic look at, what the Chargers will be looking at when they get into round 2. Will one of these guys maybe end up there? Maybe. It's probably Wyatt Davis, if anybody, just because of that injury history. But Eichenberg's going to go. Mayfield's going to go. Vera Tucker, Darisaw, all these guys, they're not going to be there in the second round. So let's look at what the Chargers do have now in the second round. As far as offensive linemen go, they have James Hudson, who, I really like, and some teams, would like to have him in the second round. But you're now asking a very raw prospect, granted a very talented prospect, to start at left tackle for you, unless you're bringing back Sam Tevy, which God no, and letting Hudson develop for a year. So at this point, you're probably letting Hudson start at left tackle. And that is your best prospect here that's remaining so far. I haven't watched everybody, but I do believe Hudson is the best remaining guy. And are you comfortable with that? I'm not sure. Now, of course, the Chargers could sign a left tackle and left guard. They could sign, 4 new offensive linemen free agency. That's fine. But they haven't so far. So I have to operate based on what I know. And that's that James Hudson would have to start at left tackle. And along the interior, you have Josh Myers. I'm not a huge fan of his, as an interior guy in the third round. Okay. But after that, that's assuming he even makes it there. Then you're like with Deontay Brown, who's a big plug, but not very athletic. Aaron Banks, David Moore. Like, some of these guys, do you really want them in the second round? No. So what do you do? Now, what should happen, even though the Chargers are dying for a corner, is they should wait. Because you end up with guys like Kelvin Joseph, Asante Samuel Jr., who they've met with, Elijah Molden, some of these guys that I think like Asante Samuel could start day one. He would in this defense, because all he has to do is be healthy, and he'll start there with Tavon Campbell and Chris Harris. But I really think the strength of the draft right now is to wait for a corner still, even though they really need one, because, like I said, you're going to be stuck with James Hudson or Josh Myers or Deontay Brown or whoever you're interested in, and it's mostly just a reach at that point. And you guess you could look at another, position. Richie Grant, Javonte Williams, great players. Rondale Moore, in the second round, not bad at all. But is that what you want to do? Now you're pushing to the third round to take a corner or another offensive lineman? I just don't know about that. So, right now the Chargers are in a real pickle. They have no offensive lineman and they have no secondary. So hopefully by the time this video goes up, you'll have something different. But for right now, the Chargers are in a tough spot. So what do you think they should do? Leave a comment, subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. Let me know.